It's within us. It's outside of us. It connects us. It confounds us. It can create a high. It can bring you low. It's actually a powerful means of putting forth our very own self. We call it sound. The origin of the universe is attributed to Big Bang, a blast of seemingly immeasurable proportions, and probably the first sound to introduce itself. That very first sound did by itself lay the foundation for an ever-growing body of a wide variety of sounds. The process is on and would go on till eternity. Expression through sound is the most common and generally the most easily understandable. However, sound, in its own capacity, is a multi-layered entity having a range of structural and functional attributes. The most amenable, most pleasing sound is undoubtedly music. Which is why, whenever an inspiring or uplifting plain statement comes forward, we spontaneously say, "Oh, it's music to my ears."
Today we talk about its existence, its physics, we can say, and its chemistry also, and its clinical aspects. Its manifestation, when we talk about its creation, I would like to add one more term that's called music. Quantum mechanism of music. To understand quantum mechanism of music, the genesis of the quantum mechanism of physics must be learned in the beginning. Numerous theories have been written when quantum mechanism level is discussed. It's found that the mechanism is only available in particle nature. When taken to the higher level, the results are different, and the same is the case with the theory of relativity. Music comes under sound wave and physics, having its own laws. We have understood music in classified definition. So far, a classical definition of music is concerned, singing, dancing and playing of instruments is called music. But my definition of music is somewhat different. When we research on music, we found these are soft vibrations connected with the effects of resonance, and etc. Thought came in my mind during my PhD that if everybody has same respiratory rate, same vocal cords and same frequencies are produced, why can't everybody sing? This I documented as secret of music. This with no going back paved way for my research called quantum mechanism of music in theory and practice. When sound wave is quantumized, lowest unit is revealed, that's called frequency. When this goes to its receptors, it gets demodulated and receptor makes it out first and feeds ecstatic. But this sound wave also carries an information that reaches the receptor. Receptor not only listens but also understands the information that comes along with sound wave. So far as this information is concerned, its mechanism is not known to us till. This is what has been procured to be decoded and recognized the game of this information. As said by Anderson, where words fail, music speaks. We know this world has existed since the Big Bang, but it's everywhere, so it has to appear in the arts too. But how and where? Before discussing music in detail, let's categorize music in three parts. Second, musicology or physics of music. The science behind the music, especially in physics. There is of course a difference between normal sound and musical wave for the reason that musical wave has temptation, but the normal sound sends temptation. Normal sound, where frequencies fluctuate, is recognized as noise or cacophony, discordance or unmusicality. But the question is, there is also a difference in these musical waves, as well, like some are more harmonious and some are less. What I did, I quantumized it as quantum qubits, new bits, and quantum hour bits, and extracted its quantum mechanism, what it does basically, and how it works with this bit system. And the third part, that's clinical part of this, that is most vital and important, that's clinical music. It's an important part of music, having connection with its interaction with matter, living and non-living, existing in the universe, including baryonic and non-baryonic forces. Let me shed some light on this clinical part of the music. The impact of music is on each and every matter of the universe. In other words, sound interacts with all types of matter existing in this universe. This we can better understood through cymatics, interaction of musical wave and matter. And music therapy is a concept in which sound waves are directed at the body with the aim of promoting health. We can see even colors impact with a particular music type. This also gets patternized through the configuration of qubits from both sides. It interacts with the neurological part of the human body. It touches all the aspects of the mind, body, brain and behavior. This mechanism we are revealing before the world by the help of the super sensors. We can decode, we can translate these codes, these electric impulses into the specific information by means of this mechanism that's called lock and key method. If two musical waves with same parameters are selected, but the output won't be the same, it means there is one more system working within it, and that is very important to understand. If my brain is listening to musical waves and feels ecstatic, so how it feels ecstatic? When we quantumize it, we get to know that qubits are in connection with artistic qubits irreversibly, giving birth to a configuration when we further quantumize it. These particles goes into configuration or maturation phase and conveys through the patch-up of lock and key method from the donor, artist and the receptor, and creates a smooth pattern. At that time, brain signals receive a smooth fashion. The more smoothness it receives, more it mesmerizes its receptor. Now, if it is not liked by receptor, then the configuration is not seasoned to level it should have been. If receptor likes half of the musical wave and the rest he feels a foul, that means 50% of the particles have gone into the phase of configuration. This way, the quantum mechanism of music streams its course of action. Frequency, the lowest unit of sound, is measured in terms of hertz. Observing vibrations while circulating in terms of frequency interacts and gets synchronized with the applied frequency created by the external force, known as resonance. And this process also creates dissonance as a result of disequilibrium between natural and applied frequency. At quantum level, this natural frequency, which is a source of amount of mass, its stiffness and gravitational mechanism, is actually part of supernatural energy, creating vibrations at quantum level particle level that will be revealed later in the super-infinity wave mechanism. An interaction of sound in terms of phonons and gravity in terms of gravitons at quantum level. So far as the quantum mechanism of music is concerned, it works as per an important concept called lock and key method that plays a dynamic role in liking and disliking of sound. Waves apart from resonance and dissonance and varies in several respects in terms of interaction with the living and non-living matter of universe. Because in some cases noise or dissonance becomes the good signal for a living being, that means resonance and dissonance has no role in terms of liking and disliking. For example, a noise becomes a good signal or alluring sound under the proper arrangement and control on pitch, loudness, magnitude, temper and volume. Musical wave becomes disliking at certain points. That indicates a primary role of lock and key method, in addition to resonance or dissonance, which affects or interacts with the matter in a softer way and has connection with the super-infinity wave and gravitational mechanism, etc. Now let us go over to lock and key method of quantum mechanism of music that not only has frequency present at quantum level but When we observe frequency eternally, we detect that sound is actually made up of qubits, which are further made up of nanobits, and nanobits are further made up of iobits. Consequently, it results in the formation of configuration, and this configuration is a result of qubits. That is, these qubits take part in a particular shape, and these qubits combine with the qubits of receptor object, creating a maturation and results in the formation of a softness. In this softness is referred as like. The effect is attached to every matter. That is to say, qubits have an interaction with matter. Our point is that qubits are the main cause of liking and disliking. Experts are well acquainted with how music therapy reacts with neurons and heals the person suffering from any disease disorder. In other words, to minimize the intensity of disease or any disorder, otherwise divert it with the melody of music. This we receive as a basic mechanism like in a patient suffering from any disease disorder. We can perceive through the sound that the qubits in patient with intensity or configurational formula after maturating them. Now it's an all inclusively acclaimed that some diseases or disorders, specifically cardiac related health complaints or mental health issues, can be treated with music therapy. But what I disclose is that each sound has a different combination that carries an altogether different information, but we need to unlock its configuration mathematically only in that fashion. We can specialize the sound for the particular disease disorder and can definitely minimize the effect of the disease we are dealing with.
Sound as an area of study is incredibly interesting. The dynamics of sound open up whole new vistas of understanding and knowledge. In this context, the intrinsic appeal of music inspires us to delve further, enabling us in the process an insight into the universe of sound. How does it happen? Why does it happen? What are the dynamics of this cause and effect process?
Sound, it acts like a bridge between the species, between the living organisms, between the persons, to communicate their expressions, their language, their words, and their all things which they want to deliver. Apart from this, the sound is the best companion.
In fact, there is a particular branch in psychology which shows the connectionism of body with the sound or connectionism of behavior with the sound, that is known as psychoacoustic. That branch deals with different sounds which affects our body.
When a person feels happiness in that situation, it creates a sound which is pluck sound. We can see the pieces of sound and results in a laughter. When a person feels sadness, feels gloominess, feels any sort of danger or threat, it feels at that time sound not fully interacts with those this neuropsychological aspect. At that time it creates a wave form. We can say in the bow form, that's called the bow movement. Once it stimulates the signals carried by the neurons and electrical impulses, they interacts with this pouch, and this pouch bursts at that time in the shape of water drops, that's called tears. It's a scientific impact, it's a scientific mechanism of this process, what is happening from the inner side of the brain in terms of neuropsychological process and in terms of neurophysiological process. There are two gateways wherefrom we get the foreign information and trapped or stored in the brain in a particular area, where that acoustic waves get transferred into electrical impulses within no time and revert back to the object in same fashion and same arrangement and same mechanism. It's a mechanism revealed through this quantum mechanism concept.
There are times when unspecific information eclipses the specific information so much that one finds it difficult, almost impossible, to attribute one's state of mind to any one cause or reason. At times like these, the most intricate laboratory or repository ever known, the human mind would appear to be a jumbled lot, and any attempt to find a possible trigger for one's behavior or demeanor would be similar to try and find a needle in a haystack. So how do we solve the puzzle? The predicament, albeit on the flip side, is shared by people with a speech defect, or might even be shared by an otherwise normal person if he's expected to express himself or herself in a language that he's not or she's not acquainted with. So, would the unspecific information or unexplained information remain closeted for good? Is there a way to reach it? How does one understand what isn't expressed?
Basically, sound is made up of two informations, as we have already discussed it in quantum information theory, that's specific information and unspecific information. From inner side of brain, there are already geometrical information which are in unspecific mode, on unspecific nature, and that those informations got manifested in specific formation by means of a neurophysiological concept and neuropsychological concepts. These neurons, as carriers of these informations, get transferred within no time. But when a person is not having smooth functioning in the larynx part, or we can say is not able to speak, or he is not able to express, so in other words we can say he is being paralyzed, but still he has got information stored in the particular area of the brain. So these electric impulses in the shape of specific information, we can decode those informations by means of super sensors. With the help of the electrodes, we can connect at the super sensory part of this brain. From this method, we can mitigate the mental disorders, we can mitigate the health disorders, or we can judge by means of low pitching, by means of moaning, screaming of the sound. By means of this concept, we can we can squeeze out the reality, squeeze out the miracles is being done in this very area of the brain.